And Jesus said to them, "What is it you want me to do for you?" And they said to him, "Appoint us to sit, one at your right hand and one at your left, in your glory." And Jesus said to them, "You do not know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I drink, or be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?" They replied, "We are able." Then he said to them, "The cup that I drink you will drink, and the baptism that I am baptized with you will be baptized. But to sit at my right hand or my left is not mine to appoint, but is for those for whom it has been prepared." When the 10 heard about this, they began to be angry with James and John. So Jesus called them and said to them, "You know that among the Gentiles, those whom they recognize as their leaders lord it over them, and their great ones are tyrants over them. But it's not so among you. Whoever wishes to become great among you must be last of all, and whoever wishes to be first of all must be slave of all. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many." Hit it, Ruby. They were on the road. They came to Jericho. They were on the road going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus was walking ahead of them. And Jesus was walking ahead of them. Those who followed were amazed, and those who followed also were afraid. So Jesus called them and said to them, "Look, we're going up to Jerusalem. The Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death. Then they will hand him over to the Gentiles. They will mock him and spit upon him and flog him and kill him. And after 3 days, he will rise again." They came to Jericho. As Jesus and his disciples were leaving Jericho, Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, was a blind beggar sitting at the roadside. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout out and say, "Jesus! Jesus! 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 Son of David! Have mercy on me!" Many sternly ordered him to be quiet, but he cried out even more loudly, "Son of David! Son of David! Have mercy on me!" Jesus stood still and said, "Call him here." And they called the blind man and said to him, "Get up, take heart, he is calling you." So throwing off his cloak, he sprang up. He sprang up. Vicky, stand up. He sprang up. And Jesus said to the blind man, "What do you want me to do for you?" And the blind man said to him, "My teacher, my teacher, my teacher, my teacher, let me see again." Let me see again. And Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has made you well." Immediately they regained their sight and followed him on the way. 5 full minute break. Shocking conclusion coming up. 1 minute. When they were approaching Jerusalem at Bethpage and Bethany near the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples and said to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately as you enter it, you will find tied there a colt that's never been ridden. Untie it and bring it. If anyone says to you, 'Why are you doing this?' just say this, 'The Lord needs it,' and we'll send it back here immediately." So they went away and found a colt tied near a door outside in the street. As they were untying it, some of the bystanders said to them, "What are you doing, untying the colt?" They told them what Jesus had said, and they allowed them to take it. Then they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their cloaks on it, and he sat on it. Many people spread their cloaks on the road, and others spread leafy branches that they had cut in the fields. Then those who went ahead and those who followed were shouting, "Hosanna! Hosanna! 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 Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our ancestor David. Hosanna! Hosanna in the highest heaven." Then he entered Jerusalem and went into the temple. And when he had looked around at everything, he went out to Bethany as it was already late. On the following day, when they came from Bethany, he was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to see whether perhaps he would find anything on it. When he came to it, there was nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. He said to it, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard it. Then they came to Jerusalem, and he entered the temple. And he began to drive out those who were buying and those who were selling in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves, and he would not allow anyone to carry anything through the temple. He was teaching and saying, "Is it not written? Is it not written? My house shall be a place of prayer for all the nations, but you have made it a den of robbers." Is it not written, "My house shall be a house of prayer"? In the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree withered away to its roots. Then Peter remembered and said to Jesus, Rabbi, look, the fig tree that you cursed has withered. Jesus answered them, have faith in God. Truly, I tell you, if you say to this mountain, be taken up and thrown into the sea, and if you do not doubt in your heart, but believe that what you say will come to pass, it will be done for you. So I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Whenever you stand praying, forgive. Whenever you stand praying, forgive. If you have anything against anyone, so that your Father in heaven may also forgive you your trespasses. Again, they came to Jerusalem, and as he was walking in the temple, the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders came to him and said, by what authority are you doing these things? Who gave you the authority to do them? Jesus said to them, I will ask you one question. Answer me, and I'll tell you by what authority I do these things. Did the baptism of John come from heaven or from human hands? Answer me. Oh, they argued with one another. What should we say? If we say from heaven, he will say, why then did you not believe him? But shall we say of human hands? They were afraid of the crowd, for all regarded John as truly a prophet. So they answered him, we don't know. And Jesus said to them, neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. Then he began to speak to them in parables. A man planted a vineyard, put a fence around it, dug a pit for the winepress, and built a watchtower. Then he leased it to the tenants and went away. When the season came, he sent a slave to the tenants to collect from them his share of the produce of the vineyard. But they seized him, beat him, and threw him out of the vineyard. And again, he sent another slave to them. This one they beat over the head and insulted. Then he sent another, and that one they killed. And so it was with many others. Some they beat, and others they killed. He had still one other, a beloved son. Finally, he sent him to them, saying, surely they will respect my son. But those tenants said to one another, this is the heir. Let us seize him and kill him, and the inheritance will be ours. So they seized him, killed him, and threw him out of the vineyard. What then will the owner of the vineyard do? He will come and destroy the tenants and give the vineyard to others. Have you not read in the book of Moses how God said to him, have you not read in the scriptures the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone? And it was amazing in their eyes. When they realized that he told this parable against them, they wanted to kill him. But But they were afraid of the crowd, so they left him and went away. Then they sent to him some Pharisees and some Herodians to trap him in what he said. And they came and said to him, "Teacher, we know that you are sincere and show deference to no one, for you do not regard people with partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with truth. Is it lawful? Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay them or should we not?" But knowing their hypocrisy, he said to them, "Why do you put me to the test? Bring me a denarius and let me see it." And they brought one. Then he said to them, "Whose head is on this, and whose title?" They said to him, "Caesar's." And he said to them, "Give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and give to God the things that are God's." And they were utterly amazed at him. Some Sadducees, who say there's no resurrection, came to him and asked him a question, saying, "Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies, leaving a wife but no child, the man shall marry the widow and raise up children for his brothers. There were 7 brothers. The first married, and when he died, left no children. The second married the widow and died, leaving no children. And the third likewise. All of the 7 married her, leaving no children. Last of all, the woman herself died. In the resurrection, when they rise, whose wife will she be?" Jesus said to them, "Is not this the reason you are wrong? That you know neither the Scriptures nor the power of God? For when people rise from the dead, they neither marry or are given in marriage, but are like angels in heaven. And as for the dead being raised, is it not written in the book of Moses, in the story about the bush, how God said to him, 'I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. He is God, not of the dead, but of the living. You are quite wrong.' A scribe who heard them came near, and seeing that he answered them well, he asked him, 'Which commandment is first of all?' And Jesus said to him, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all of your heart, and with all of your soul, and with all of your mind, and with all of your strength. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." When the scribe heard him, he said, "Teacher, you are right. You have truly said that he is one, and besides him there is no other, and to love him with all of the heart, and with all of the understanding, and with all of the strength, and to love one's neighbor as oneself. This is much more important than all whole burnt offerings and sacrifices." When Jesus saw that he answered him wisely, he said to him, "Truly, you are not far from the kingdom of God." After that, no one dared to to ask him a question. As Jesus was teaching in the temple, he said, "Beware of the scribes who like to wear long robes and to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses. For the sake of appearance, they say long prayers." He sat down opposite the treasury and watched the crowd putting money into the treasury. Many rich people put in large sums. A poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins worth about a penny. Then Jesus called his disciples and said to them, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all those who are contributing to the treasury. For all of them have contributed out of their abundance, but she, out of her poverty, has put in all that she had, everything she had, all that she had to live on." As they were coming out of the temple, one of his disciples said to him, Look, teacher, what large stones and what large buildings." Then Jesus said to them, "Do you see these great buildings? Not one stone will be left here upon another. All will be thrown down." As he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, "Tell us, when will this be? And what will the sign be that all these things are about to be accomplished?" And Jesus began to say to them, Beware that no one leads you astray. Many will come in my name, and they will say, "I am he," and they will lead many astray. When you hear of wars and rumor of wars, do not be alarmed. This must take place, but the end is still to come. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places. There will be famine. This is but the beginning of the birth pains. As for yourselves, beware, keep watch, for they will hand you over to the councils, and you will be beaten in the synagogues, and you will stand before governors and kings because of me as a testimony to them. And the good news must first be proclaimed to all the nations. When they bring you to trial and hand you over, do not worry beforehand about what you are to say, but say whatever is given to you at that time, for it is not you who speak, but the Holy Spirit who speaks in you. Sibling will betray sibling to death, and a father his child. Children will rise up against their parents and have them put to death, and you will be hated by all because of my name. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. When you see the desolating sacrilege set up where it ought not to be, let the reader understand that those in Judea must flee to the mountains. The one on the housetop must not go down or get anything from the house. The one in the field must not turn back to get their coat. Woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing infants in those days. Pray that it may not be in winter, for in those days there will be great suffering, such as has not been from the beginning of creation that God created until now, and never will be. And if the Lord had not saved the elect in those days, then no one would be saved. But for the sake of the elect whom he chose, he has kept forth those days. If anyone says to you at that time, "Look, here is the Messiah," or "Look, there he is," do not believe it. False messiahs and false prophets will appear and produce signs and wonders to lead astray, if possible, the elect. But be alert. I have already told you everything. But in those days, after that suffering, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from heaven, and the powers in the heaven will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. Then he will send out his angels to gather the elect from the four winds, from the ends of earth to the ends of heaven. From the fig tree, learn its lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that he is near, at the very gates. Truly, I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But about that day or hour, no one knows. Neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. Be alert. Keep watch. It's like a man going on a journey when he leaves home and puts his slaves in charge, each with his own work, and commands the doorkeeper to be on the watch. Therefore, I say to you, for you do not know when the master of the house will come, in the evening or at midnight or at cockcrow or at dawn, or else he may find you asleep when he comes suddenly. And what I say to you, I say to all, keep watch. 3 minutes. Seconds.
How tough is this photo?
Amazing. It was 2 days before the Passover and the festival of unleavened bread. The chief priests were looking for a way to kill him and arrest him by stealth, for they said, "Not during the festival, or there may be a riot among the people." While Jesus was in Bethany, as he sat at the table, a woman came with an alabaster jar of very costly ointment of nard. And she broke open the jar and poured the ointment on his head. But some were there who said to her in anger, "Why was this ointment wasted in this way? For this ointment could have been sold for more than 300 denarii and the money given to the poor." But Jesus said, "Let her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has performed a good service for me, for you will always have the poor with you, and you can show kindness to them whenever you wish, but you will not always have me. She has done what she could. She has anointed my body beforehand for its burial. For truly I tell you, wherever the good news is proclaimed, what she has done will be told in remembrance of her." Then Judas, who was one of the 12, went to the chief priests in order to betray him to them. When they heard it, they were greatly pleased and promised to give him money. So he began to look for an opportunity to betray him. On the first day of unleavened bread, when the Passover lamb is sacrificed, his disciples came and said to him, "Where do you want us to go and make the preparations for you to eat the Passover?" So he sent them into the town, saying, "Go into the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him, and wherever he enters, say to the owner of the house, 'The teacher asks, where is my guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large room upstairs, furnished and ready. Make preparations for us there." When it was evening, he came with the 12. And as they were eating, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me, one who is eating with me." They began to be distressed and to say to him, one after another, "Surely not I." He said to them, "It is one of the 12, one who is dipping bread into the bowl with me. For the Son of Man goes, as it is written of him, but woe to that one by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that one not to have been born. While they were eating, Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after blessing it, he broke it and gave it to his disciples and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them, and all of them drank from it. He said to them, "This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many. Truly I tell you, I will never again drink of the fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new in the kingdom of God." When they had sung the hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. And Jesus said to them, "You will all fall away. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will scatter. But after I am raised up, I will go before you to Galilee." Peter said to him, "Even though all fall away, I will not." Jesus said to him, "Truly I tell you, this day, this very night, before the cock crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. But he said vehemently, "Even though I must die with you, I will not deny you." And all of them said the same. They came to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took with him Peter and James and John and began to be distressed and agitated. He said to them, My soul is deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and keep awake." And going a little further, he threw himself on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He said, "Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me." "Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me." Abba, Father, remove this cup from me. Yet, not what I want, but what you want. He came and found them sleeping. And he said to Simon, Peter, Simon, are you asleep? Could you not keep awake 1 hour? Keep awake and pray that you may not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And again he went away and prayed, saying the same words. And once more he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy, and they did not know what to say to him. He came a third time and said to them, are you still sleeping and taking your rest? Enough! The hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up! Let us be going. Look, my betrayer is at hand. Immediately Judas arrived, and with him there was a crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, the one I will kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard. So they came and grabbed hold of him. And he went up to him at once and kissed him and said, Rabbi. Then they laid hands on him and arrested him. But one of those who stood near drew his sword and struck the slave of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Then Jesus said, have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me, as though I were a rebel? Day after day I was with you in the temple teaching, and you did not arrest me. But let the scriptures be fulfilled. All of them abandoned him and fled. There was a certain young man following him, wearing nothing but a linen cloth. They got hold of him, but he left the linen cloth. But he left the linen cloth and ran off naked. They took Jesus to the high priest, and all the chief priests and the scribes and the elders were assembled. Peter had followed him at a distance, right into the courtyard of the high priest, and he was sitting with the guards, warming himself at the fire. The chief priests, along with the whole council, were looking for testimony against Jesus to have him put to death, but they found none, for many gave false testimony against him. Some stood up and said, we heard him say, I will destroy the temple that is made with hands, and in 3 days build another, not made with hands. But even on this point, their testimony did not agree. Then the high priest stood up before them and said to Jesus, what is your defense? Have you no answer? But he was silent and did not answer. Again, the high priest said to him, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One?" Jesus said, "I am. And you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the power and coming with the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore his clothes and said, "Why do we still need witnesses? You have heard his blasphemy. What is your decision?" All of them condemned him as deserving death. Some began to blindfold him, to spit upon him, and to beat him, saying to him, "Prophesy." The guards also took him and beat him. While Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the female servants of the high priest came by. When she saw Peter warming himself, she stared at him and said, "You also were with Jesus, the man from Nazareth?" But he said to her, I do not know or even understand what you're talking about." And he went out into the forecourt. Then the cock crowed. And the female servant, on seeing him, began again to say to the bystanders, "This man is one of them." But again, he denied it. Then after a little while, the bystanders said to him, "Certainly you are one of them, for you are a Galilean, and you talk like them." But he began to curse, and he swore an oath, "I do not know this man you are talking about." At that very moment, the cock crowed for the second time. Then Peter remembered that Jesus had said to him, "Before the cock crows twice, you will deny me 3 times." And he broke down and wept. As soon as it was morning, the chief priests held a consultation with the elders, the scribes, and the whole council. They bound Jesus and led him away and handed him over to Pilate. Pilate said to him, "Oh, are you the king of the Jews?" He answered him, "You say so." Then the chief priests accused him of many things, and Pilate said to him again, "Have you no answer? See how many charges they bring against you?" But he made no further reply, so that Pilate was amazed. Now at the festival, he used to release a prisoner for them, anyone for whom they asked. Now a man called Barabbas was in prison with the insurrectionists who had committed murder during the insurrection. So the crowd came and began to ask Pilate to do for them according to his custom. Then he answered them, "Do you want me to release for you the king of the Jews?" For he had realized that it was out of jealousy that the chief priests had handed him over. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd to have them release Barabbas for them instead. Pilate spoke to them again. "Then what do you wish me to do with the man you call the king of the Jews?" They shouted back, "Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him!" Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him! Pilate said to them, "Why? What evil has he done?" But they shouted even more, "Crucify Pilate, wishing to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas for them instead. And after having Jesus flogged, he handed him over to be crucified. The soldiers led him away into the courtyard of the palace. They called together the whole cohort and put a purple cloak on him. And after twisting some thorns into a crown, they put it on him. And they began saluting him, "Hail, King of the Jews." And they spat upon him and struck his head with a reed and knelt down in homage to him. After mocking him, they stripped him of the purple clothes and put his clothes on him. Then they led him out to crucify him. They compelled a passerby who was coming in from the country. It was Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. Then they led him to Golgotha, which means place of a skull. They offered him sour wine, but he did not take it. And they crucified him and divided his clothes among them, casting lots to decide what each should take. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when they crucified him. The inscription of the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." And with him they crucified 2 rebels, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by derided him, shaking their heads and saying, "Aha, he would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days. Save yourself and come down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests, along with the scribes, were also mocking him among themselves, saying, "He saved others. He cannot save himself. Let the Messiah, the King of Israel, come down from the cross so that we might see and believe." Those who were crucified with him also taunted him. When it was noon, darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. At 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani," which means, "My God, my God, why?" Why have you forsaken me? Some of the bystanders heard him and said, "Listen, he is calling for Elisha." Someone ran and filled a sponge with sour wine and put it on a stick and gave it to him to drink, saying, "Keep." "Wait, let us see whether Elijah may come down and rescue him." Then Jesus gave a loud cry and breathed his last. When the centurion saw that in this way he breathed his last, he said, "Truly this man was God's son." There were also women looking on from the distance. Among them was Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James the younger, and of Joseph and Salome. They had followed him when he was in Galilee and had ministered to him. There were also many other women who had come up with him to Jerusalem. When it was evening, since it was the day of preparation, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph of Arimathea, a respected member of the council, who was also himself waiting expectantly for the kingdom of God, went boldly to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then Pilate wondered if he were already dead, and summoning the centurion, he asked him if he were dead for some time. When he learned from the centurion that he was dead, he granted the body to Joseph. Then Joseph bought a linen cloth. Taking down the body, he wrapped it in a linen cloth and laid it in a tomb that had been hewn out of rock. He then rolled a stone against the entrance of the tomb. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Joseph, saw where the body was laid. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go and anoint him. And very early, on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. They had been saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance of the tomb?" When they looked up, they saw that the stone, which was very large, had already been rolled back. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe sitting at the right side, and they were alarmed. But he said to them, "Do not be alarmed. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has been raised. He is not here. Look, there is the place they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him just as he told you." So they went out and fled from the tomb, for terror and amazement had seized them, and they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. So the beginning of the good news
The gospel is ending. Wait. The play is over. The gospel is beginning.